Hey,
Hello,
hey.
friends. Welcome to the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy and me, talking about movies.
Yep. Movies like we always talk about. Obsessed. It's
Yeah.
all we do. It's all we care about.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of
Pretty much.
sad, but true.
No, it's not sad. It's wonderful. Beautiful.
But we're going to talk about a trailer today for something I know nothing about.
We're getting a lot of
And
requests for it. I know nothing about it
yeah,
either, and I'm not super familiar with the actor, but it's a Telugu film and an actor who's done over 100 Telugu films. His name's
Balakrishna.
Nandamuri Balakrishna. So he is the actor. He's apparently huge. People love him. So I love finding out about cult actors, whether their movies are good or not. I have no idea. Sometimes you just want to see the actors that transcend the films, that just make the films, and whether the film is good or not, they're popular and they connect with audiences because they have an incredibly charismatic star. So I'm
Right.
interested
People go
what this
see the
guy's all
star
about.
instead of the movie, really.
Yeah.
But this one's called Veera Simha Reddy.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
coming
I
out this
know
year.
absolutely nothing about
Nothing.
this movie.
Nothing.
So,
But lots of people saying, please react to this. We love this guy. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
all right, this better be
All
good.
right.
You ready to roll the trailer?
Ready.
Action.
Oh. Mm. Oh.
Ooh.
Wow. Oh. Dang. Oh. Oh, yeah. All right. Mm. Mm. There's a lot of really big weapons in that I feel like would be easier if you just had a gun. I don't know.
I know, but
See? But it's not as cool. Not nearly as cool as like a big axe or machete crazy
I know.
weapon.
And he gets to say, I'm going to chop your.
And we got to guess, what's he
Yeah.
chopping? I don't
But
know.
it just, I don't know. It looks like that whole slow motion thing, that you have
Yeah,
on the
it's
iPhone.
definitely
It's a
all
little bit
like you have on
overused.
the iPhone.
Yeah. And
It,
that it takes place on that planet that we know about that has very low gravity. When a car blows up, it goes flying up into the
well, they
sky,
always
and
do that. They
people
always do
go
that. It's
flying through the air
special.
and punch
Because
somebody
if
and they
you
go flying. But
no, well, if you just see a car blow up, it's not all that exciting. So you gotta this is like the cartoon version of action. Action films have made this a thing.
yeah.
There's slow motion, things flying through the air. It's like, we've talked about physics in this, and no
Oh,
one cares
yeah.
about. They don't
I'm
care.
sure
They
somebody
don't
will
care.
tell me that I shouldn't pay attention to the physics and all that, but it's I mean, it's a thing that takes me out of the reality of a movie. This is a different kind of movie. There's those gritty films that take place in the real world.
Yeah.
tend to be more interested in. But then again, I like Marvel films, and
Exactly.
possible
It's kind of
films.
like
But
superheroes.
I think they kind of tend to do things a little bit more in I don't know, in a grounded kind of way. This to me has got like, chopping a guy in the chest with an axe and then picking him up with only that much of the axe in his chest. Like, I don't know. There's an oddness to it. It really is like mythological fantasy. And it seems
Yeah,
like revenge, like bloody revenge fantasy, like
yeah.
smiting your enemies and in really bloody, embarrassing, sort of dehumanizing ways.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sort of that it seems kind of old school, like we were talking about like the things flying
Yeah.
through the air. It seems like kind of old Schwarzenegger movies where, all the action was sort of about defying any sort of logic, but in a way that's
Right.
sort of the point for the escapism aspect of the film. I didn't want it to be too real because when you stuff that's too real, it's kind of depressing. So we want to see things that are blown up and huge and blue skies and like
Right.
graphic CGI blood that's beautiful and sprays perfectly, and
Right.
that there it's almost like its own genre. It's like there's action films and then there's this kind of action film, which is like
Right.
not Tom Cruise doing his own stunts. This is like just balls to the wall craziness that just sounds cool, like almost like a comic book. It's just like
And you got
things are
whole
flying around.
squads of bad guys all dressed alike
Yeah.
running at you, and
And one
it's
guy
like,
kills them all.
"Ah!"
Yeah.
Yeah, and he puts a spear right through all 7 of them, and
Yeah.
then he crosses his legs like, yeah, so easy for me.
That's
And
right.
it's like that sort of above the laws of physics hero that's
Yes.
kind of, I guess it's kind of fun to watch if you get into that
Yeah.
vibe, if you get into the spirit of it,
Yeah.
And
I
if you hate the enemy guys enough, I mean, if it's,
right.
what you have to do is maybe show the reason, like with the John Wick movies, you show the reason why Keanu Reeves really wants to kill these guys. And then when he kills them, when he's coming into the revenge part, you're like, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the trailers, sometimes when we watch these trailers, we don't get that setup. All we see is this hyper cool guy who's like sitting in a chair with his legs crossed,
Yeah.
clicking his fingers, and guys are dying,
Yeah.
and it's sort of like, why do I want those guys to die in those bloody ways? I don't know, so
Yeah, and it also
the
seems
trailers
like it's a
sometimes.
movie just for trailers. Like, it feels like this is just a big, long trailer. It's like because I wonder, like you're
Right.
saying, like, what happens to these guys? Like, are you supposed to care about them? They all have families somewhere, right? Like,
I
that's
know,
not
yeah.
too depressing, but and then
So
there's like,
did
where are the
everyone on
cops?
the Death Star,
Yeah, exactly. So where are the police? Like, is this gonna be a movie where we don't need the police, that we're just handling things vigilante style, and that they're just gonna leave everybody alone to sort it out? Is it kind of like two mobs fighting? I mean, and we're just going off what we're
Yeah.
seeing in the trailer, which is like apparently like one woman in the whole town, apparently,
Right.
and then like a lot of guys who want to get killed. They're running at a guy with an axe. I just think there's only a few ways that's gonna end. So it's
And he
not gonna
doesn't
be.
even have to stand up. He just stays in that throne, But
Yeah.
it's kind of like one of those it's a fantasy film that I
Yeah.
talk about. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with that sort of
Yeah.
overly fantastical,
Mhm.
pushing the limits of wire work and whatnot, where you have, you punch a guy, like, and the action choreography, it's like this kind of a punch can send a guy literally flying
Boom.
through the sky, and he smashes into
Extra
this
strong.
archway, and it shatters concrete. And there's a way to do powerful fight choreography that looks powerful, and then there's a way
Yeah.
to do it that kind of just looks a little wonky because it looks like you're trying to look powerful, but you got your physics a little bit wrong, and he just goes like that, and the guy's head goes off, flying through,
Yeah.
flipping through space. And it's so much more, to me, it's so much more effective when you have your fight choreography done in a way that you're like, yeah, I believe that, I believe that
Yeah.
he's so powerful that he can punch a guy that hard. But
Yeah.
here it's
This
just,
is
it's a little
yeah.
bit too much to have a guy like, it's like that whole thing where he goes thump like that, and the guy's
Yeah.
head comes off,
Yeah, and I get no feel in the trailer. I mean, granted, this is we're talking about the trailer. We don't know. We haven't seen the
Right, right,
movie. We
right.
don't know. But I get no feel for the character having any depth or any kind of emotional soul at all. It just feels like it's just sort of vigilante violence for violence sake, and we're just going to show a bunch of cool ways to kill people, and that's pretty
Right.
much. And that's all people require in an action movie. It doesn't really matter if you have any depth or plot or anything at stake. It's mostly just like, hey, you infringed on my territory. I'm going to kill you and all your men. And I mean, that's sort of what it looks like. I don't know, but it looked like one set, like look like one area almost. They have a few cool drone shots
Yeah.
and then that's that.
Bad guys, good guys, and they fight,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And it
And
doesn't
there's
matter who gets killed. You don't care. I mean, they're just meat for the grinder. No one cares what happens to these guys or who they are. You just want your
but
star to live.
it looked like they had some dance numbers in there, some music
That
and
was funny.
some scenes, like that, which is a prerequisite, and it's something that
I
we
did.
expect.
And that looked pretty
But
fun. Like I like how they introduced it too. Like stand outside and this is what happened. They do it. They kick into a dancing, and then they kind of. So that was kind of actually it looked like a pretty funny little moment. I thought.
yeah, that
That's
might
like
be the best part.
a brief sense of humor. But yeah, the dancing actually looked pretty fun. That's
Yeah,
the only place you probably see a woman in this movie.
right.
Um, and then we have posters. So this is pretty much the movie. Him standing out in this desert, waiting for like carload after carload after carload of people to come by so he can axe them to death.
At the 4-kilometer marker, I guess, is some
Yeah, and I see an
significant
axe.
marker that he's there. Oh, there is his axe. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like it's a cool shot of him. Yeah. So then
he's got his
they got
his nice aviator sunglasses. We were talking about sunglasses
yeah,
styles in another podcast. Yeah,
aviators back.
aviators.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's got what looks like a analog watch, which is very popular, like a vintage, probably a vintage.
Yeah. This looks very photoshopped, so it looks like they probably had a shoot with him, possibly a set side because the lighting doesn't look particularly sophisticated. Like, it
Right.
doesn't look like he spent 10 money to shoot, which is fine. Side set's good because he's in costume, he's in character. Looks like they did a few plates, shots on the set. We got an axe. Who knows if it's a real one? It's kind of cropped. We got,
It's a bit of an awkward
definitely
pose.
stock mountain. Yeah, it doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you have the cars lined up and they're probably cloned to look like they're going back forever. But that's okay because we do a lot of photoshopping and posters. But this is kind of nice. It's got a nice palette. I like the desaturation. The colors are great. And we have this one. Look from the movie character.
That's a cool one.
This makes it look more high budget. It's funny. Sometimes you need more simplicity than
Yeah.
a lot of composing with Photoshop to make a movie look like it's worth more money. Because I mean, the movie looked pretty low budget. The effects looked a little could dialed in a little bit more, and the lighting, it's all outside. But
Composition's
like
a little better here. It's not awkward.
Yeah.
That last one, the pose he was in looked really uncomfortable. Like his foot
Mhm.
was like at a weird angle. Like
there's a bit of Photoshop shadow there.
Are his knees going to be okay? But
he's very good mobility. He's been stretching.
And the look on his face in that picture is like, quick, can you just take the freaking photograph?
Take it
My
now.
leg is killing me. Look, my ankle is going to break. Take the picture.
Exactly. We're just all conjecture. We have no idea what happened to this guy during this photo shoot. And then we had, again, this is probably just right out of the movie. And this is nice because nice richness. The shading is really good. It's got really good lighting. This is definitely, during the film, I spent some time on lighting. So,
and he's pointing at the photographer saying, "You're the guy that made me pose for that other one.
I'm going to chop your for that." So anyway, so that is our review after much requested. I'd love seeing some of these little like more fringe movies that star these actors we're not familiar with. I love getting appreciation for that, and it just looks like a big fun, silly action movie, kind of 90s style.
Yeah, we're going off the trailer. We have no idea what the movie is.
We have no idea. We're just telling you what the marketing is telling us. So let us know if you've seen the film. Is it worth seeing? Is it out yet? I have no idea when it comes out, but that's pretty much it.
Is it? Is there a story to it, or is it just a bunch of killing?
Killing's fine. I'm fine with that. I just want to know what is it. As long as no animals die, I'm fine with whoever gets killed. It's fine.
Right.
All right. See you guys later.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.